C. Combining a dependent clause and two independent clauses. The rule is apply rules for both A and B above. So, when I bought my new car, comma, the neighbors were envious, comma, but they pretended to congratulate me, period. When I bought my new car is the first dependent clause. So, comma after that. Now we have the neighbors were envious, which is an independent clause, comma, coordinating conjunction but, they pretended to congratulate me, which is the second independent clause. Do you see how this is a combination of what we discussed above? The second example is, I spent all of my savings, comma, and my parents had to help me out when I bought my new car, period. I spent my new savings is the first independent clause, comma, coordinating conjunction and, my parents had to help me out is the second independent clause. When I bought my new car, dependent clause, and since it comes second, there is no comma. The result of the above is called a compound complex sentence. Finally, let's not forget about simple sentences. Simple sentences contain just one subject and verb combination. Here are some examples. I bought my new car. I, subject, bought, verb. Or, my brother and I bought a new car. My brother and I, so and joins my brother and I, so there's a compound subject and verb, bought, just one verb. Or, I bought a new car and drove it home. Subject I, verb bought. Drove is the second verb, but the subject is the same, I. I did two actions, I bought and drove. It's still a simple sentence. Or, the last one, my brother and I bought a new car and drove it home. My brother and I, it's a compound subject, and is just joining my brother and I. So there are two subjects, and the verbs attached to those are bought and drove. Bought a new car and drove it home. The important thing about pointing this out is that you do not use commas when you have simple sentences, because, as we said at the beginning, there is just one subject and verb combination. Don't put commas between compound subjects or compound verbs in simple sentences. For example, you do not want to say or write, my mother, comma, and my father own a new car. Why not? For the reason we just talked about. My mother and my father are a compound subject. It's not an independent clause, and is just joining my mother and my father. Or, my father drives the truck during the week, comma, and works security on weekends. The comma here is incorrect because my father is the subject. There are two actions, drives and works. The and is just joining drives and works, the two verbs. So the correction of the above is, my mother and father own a new car. My father drives the truck during the week and works security on weekends. If you notice, neither sentence has a comma with the use of and. Don't use a comma every time you see the word and. It depends on what and is joining.